It appears that Onsra has decided to join the lightweight revolution. Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome to another video. Zeno. Fabian.
Damn, look at this comfort.
What?
Hell yes.
Hell yeah. Perfect hit tail. Dude, it's so light. Travel safe. TKP? What? What's with the sound effect? Agile. Dude. Okay.
14S 1P, travel safe 99 watt hours, or go big with 259. Only 5.5 kilos, just 12 pounds without the battery. And the best part? The battery is swappable, so you can ride all day, anywhere.
Sweet. 5.5 kilograms without the battery. Dude, let's see how heavy it actually is with the battery. So with the battery, it's 6.5 kilograms. Okay, that's still very light. So we're looking at the Zeno. It appears to be a short board and with swappable batteries. The base model has 99 watt hours. Interestingly, you cannot get this with just the 259 watt hour battery. You have to get the travel battery. That just shows you what this board is intended for. This is really intended to be a travel board. So that kind of sets up your expectations for this board. Let's go back to this video. There were a number of things that stood out to me. Look at that. Look at how he's holding it. He's like just holding it with his arm out, like just holding it at the edge of the board, like he's holding an actual skateboard. It's a hub motor with a little bit of urethane. It's not going to be very comfortable, but comfort is obviously not the priority of this board. That is a fancy looking TKP truck. Okay, look at that. Look how he's holding it. He's just holding it by the nose. That's pretty sweet.
So you can ride all day, anywhere.
Dude, I was so distracted by what he was saying that I didn't even notice that he was doing the nose manual the whole time. Look at that. Dude, that's like at least 10 seconds. I don't want this video to be an hour long, so I'm just gonna talk about the stuff that stands out to me. These range numbers look really high for a 99 watt hour battery. Even 13.2 kilometers in the brutale mode is pretty high. It's possible. It's definitely doable. Let's see, weight 5.5 kilograms. Does he advertise 5.5 anywhere else? My first thought was that, like, what's the point of showing 5.5 kilograms without the battery? But then I thought about it. This is meant to be a travel board. At least that's the way he's presenting it. So when you travel or when you go on a flight, you have to detach the battery. Let me clarify. It's not that you have to detach the battery. Some airlines, they may be more restrictive about whether or not you can bring an electricity board onto the plane. Like with some airlines, even if your board is less than 100 watt hours, they still may not allow a motorized vehicle. In such a situation, you may need to detach the battery. Like normally what I do is I carry the battery, and then as for the rest of the board, I take apart enough of it so that it no longer really looks like a motorized skateboard. It kind of just looks more like a collection of parts. And when you detach the battery and you're carrying just the board in your arm, you're actually carrying just 5.5 kilograms. You know, you're not carrying the weight of the board plus the battery. So I think it's actually legitimate to list just the weight of the board without the battery. And of course, the weight with the battery is there also. Top speed, 40 kilometers per hour. Man, that is, I don't know how short this board is. Okay, there it is. 28 inches. I think that's pretty short. And the wheelbase, of course, is even shorter. I don't think it's necessary to have a short board go that fast, but you don't have to go that fast. You can, but you don't have to. Hub motor, 75 millimeter diameter. For context, the wheels on the Aero Pro are 80 millimeters belt drive, and this is 75 millimeters with hub motors. So these are smaller, and because they're hub motors, they're definitely harder. But for a short board, I think that's okay. I think at Parsec, I don't think we would make a hub motor board. I mean, I guess if there's enough demand maybe we'll do it, but we ourselves, we're not really fans of hub motors. But hub motors do have the advantage of being more stealthy. Wheel, again, 75 millimeters. Obviously not made for long range and comfort. And I don't have a problem with this. Me personally, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to have a short board with a huge battery that makes it really heavy to carry and with huge wheels. Like with huge wheels, you gotta make the board taller so that you don't get wheel bite. But then you have a board that's short and tall. That makes it like not that pleasant to ride. Like it makes it really sketchy. And it's also heavy. Like with the short board, you can't pull it. You gotta carry it. So making it lightweight, putting on small wheels, and designing it for short distances, that totally makes sense. Trucks, TKP, CNC, not much detail on the trucks. So like with the Aero Pro, we're using 70-75 billet aluminum. So this, all we know is that it's TKP and CNC. Warranty, CNC parts, 4 years. That is a long time. Mechanical and electric components, 2 years. So that probably means the motors, because the battery and ESC are 1 year. So these trucks look, at least in this photo, the trucks look really wide. And we see here the deck is 9.65 inches wide. So about a little bit more than half an inch sticking out on each side. In this picture, it doesn't look like it's sticking out that much. In this photo, it looks like a lot. Some boards have wheels stick out. The thing you need to be aware is that if you're kick pushing, your foot might hit the wheel if your wheels are sticking out too much. Just something to be aware of. I find it interesting that they don't really focus on the weight in their marketing. Oh, actually, I didn't even look at the features. Travel safe. This is a cool shot. Like just holding it out, holding the board like that. Man, this is like Lubor days. Perfect kicktail. Interesting that there's no tail puck. Notice how there's a riser, but it's not super thick. This looks like, I don't know, 1/4 inch. I point this out because with electric shortboards, a lot of them have like thick risers, like freaking inch. Sometimes it's not a riser, but it adds so much height to the board that it affects the handling of the board. Here we go. Lightweight, 5.5 kilograms. I'm not super cool with this this marketing. Like if they flip the board over and show that there's no battery inside and they say, okay, 5.5 kilograms, I would be cool with that. But like this I'm cool with. Like if they show 5.5 and then like 6.5, that's fine. But hey, you know, maybe they're setting a precedent. If Parsec ever releases a board with a detachable battery, maybe we'll list the weight without the battery. I wonder what it looks like without the battery though. Like there's literally no photo of it with the battery detached. When he photographed this was probably a prototype, and maybe that part of the board wasn't quite finished yet. 14S uphill power. Let's take a look. Dude, look at how long that manual is. Fabian. Battery freedom, 99 watt hours or 259 watt hours. I wonder if they look the same because the weight is different. The weight of the 259 watt hour version is 6.8 kilograms instead of 6.5. It probably sticks out unless the 99 watt hour has empty space in there. You know, that's possible. Again, here, I like that there's no gigantic riser. When you're shopping for a short board, take a look at how tall it is, how much room there is between the base plate and the actual deck. On some of them, it's just ridiculous. They just like add so much height, but this is good. And I'm glad that Onsra has released this board because ever since the Aero Pro came out, how many brands have you noticed advertise their boards as being lightweight? And how many of them are actually lightweight? So many boards came out and claim to be lightweight, but they're not. They're as heavy as usual, but they claim to be lightweight. It's fucking crazy. 6.5 kilograms. Like some of you might be thinking, man, you can't even feel the difference between 6.5 and like 7 or 7.5. First of all, yes, you can. And second of all, even if you can't, it's still a good thing because for too many years, the weight of electric skateboards have gone up little by little. And now we have street boards that are like over 10 kilograms, all-terrain boards that are over 20 kilograms, even short boards like 8, 9, 10 kilograms. It's insane. So it's great to finally see a short board that is going in the other direction for weight. By the way, this is not a review. Obviously, this is just like me giving you my thoughts. I'm not going to review it because Onsra is my enemy now. They are my competitor. Fabian is my enemy. Don't get this board. Get the Parsec Aero. Some of you might be thinking, but Daniel, what I want is a lightweight portable board. Why should I get the Parsec Aero when the Onsra Zeno exists? Well, let me tell you. So the Onsra Aero, the Parsec Aero Pro, and the Onsra Zeno, there's some overlap in that they're both meant to be portable, easy to carry, but obviously, one is a short board, one is a long board. Now, the Aero Pro is not a very long board. It's what I call a compact longboard. Being a double drop longboard, it is going to be much easier to push. Like even though the Zeno is hub motors and hub motors have a reputation for being, having low rolling resistance. The Aero Pro is designed to be ridden like a regular longboard when you want. And part of that has to do with the double drop deck. When the deck is lower, the board is easier to push than when the deck is higher. When the deck is higher, you're naturally going to spend more energy because you got to bend your legs more. The Aero has a very low resistance drivetrain comparable to hub motors. So if you want to occasionally push the board, the Aero Pro it's more designed for that. It's kind of like how if you're shopping for an analog board, it's the same as choosing between a cruiser like this and a double drop longboard. Double drop longboards are more for, a lot of people use them for LDP, long distance pushing, because they require way less effort because they're so low to the ground. Whereas if you want to do some tricks or you want to use the kicktail for like the manuals that Fabian was doing, then, you can't do that with the Aero. Like you can do that with the Zeno. The Aero Pro, we're using 7075 aluminum, which is the highest grade in the e-skate industry. We don't know what kind of aluminum they're using for their trucks, but they do offer a 4-year warranty, which is like way beyond industry standard. Let's see what we offer. So for us, we offer a lifetime warranty on our trucks. We've sold a bunch of boards by now, and we have not had a single report of the trucks breaking. Both of us are like way above industry average when it comes to warranty for the trucks. With the Aero Pro, you obviously have a lot more options for the wheels, not just because it's using belt drive. With belt drive, you naturally get more options, but with a double drop deck, you have more options for wheel sizes. So even if the Zeno were belt drive, you're still going to be limited in the number of in the size of wheels that you can use because it's a top mount. So naturally, that's going to be a limit. Otherwise, you're going to get wheel bite. With a double drop, you're going to have wheel bite at some point also. In our case, it's at around 120, 125 millimeter wheels. It depends on number of things, but generally around that size. We have a very fast recharge option. Like with our 600 watt fast charger, you can recharge the entire 222 watt hours in less than 30 minutes. And I also got to mention, we're using Molicel P45B, which is one of the best cells today, one of the best for power and also for longevity. We're using industry-leading battery cells and materials. I work for Parsec, so I gotta do this. I gotta promote my own board, okay? Onsra Zeno, very cool, but get the Parsec Aero Pro. I'm kidding. Okay, if you want a short board with a kicktail, yeah, get the Zeno. And obviously, if you want to travel on a plane, you can't bring the Aero Pro onto a plane, but the Zeno you can bring onto a plane. So I just noticed something. My discount code works. So if you want the Onsra Zeno, you can use my discount code, Kwan. And you'll save a little bit.